Hey peeps, this is Kizu. Recently, everyone's favorite inhuman DBD android Otsara put out a video that went over an incredibly evil meta build utilizing menu leverage. I think it's best to let me explain this genuine violation before we delve any deeper into the video.
Leverage. This was an anti-healing perk that was honestly garbage, nobody wanted to use this, but now it's part of one of the filthiest, most disgusting builds that you can run on Killer. And the way it works is a little bit like this. You hook a survivor and you trigger Grim Embrace. This blocks every generator across the map, forcing survivors to move and rotate, often encouraging them to go for the unhook. And when they unhook, they realize that they now heal 50% slower, which is really brutal. Not only that, you also have Gift of Pain, making the person that they're healing take even longer to heal, and because of Hemorrhage, if they get interrupted, all of this very slow progress is now lost over time very quickly. If that person manages to heal, they also have a debuff on generator repair speed, which is pretty nasty. And this build still has some empty spaces, so you can slap something like Pain Rest, which is possibly the best perk in the game still, and you are also hurting generators while you do all of this. This is honestly disgusting.
So this is quite ill, right? But it isn't anything new, at least not in modern Dead by Daylight. Anyone who knows me should be aware of my deep disdain for the current state of Survivor in DBD, and I've been trying to tinker with an idea of a script exemplifying why it feels just so bad for over a year now. I've been failing. Between ADHD and just the complexity of the topic, it's been just way too fucking hard. But this Ozdara video has given me a fantastic jumping off point. So why does survival feel so much worse now? Well, at least when it comes to perk and effect design. If you're interested in kill design, I think Cho is quite right in his evaluation of modern kill designs being made with Swift only in mind, with ones like Alien Singularity especially. But we're gonna talk only about perk/effect design. With modern DBD's designs, there are two aspects: balance and feel. Those aren't at all related quite often, despite what a lot of people think, so we're tackling them separately. Let's tackle the feel first. Before the big meta shift, the best aggression was Ruin Undying. On killers like Blight, with Ruin Undying Tinker, this could feel kinda awful, but that fell down more to Tinkerer plus S-tier killers being busted. So why do these perks feel good, quote unquote, or at least as good as aggression perk can feel? The key and all-trumping aspect is agency. You have full agency as a survivor over Ruin. Teammates getting wrecked by it? Find the totem. If you're the only person with eyes on the team, and rejoice with your friends and craft and lose half their gen progress. The generator regresses only if you let go of a gen or are forced off it by the killer actively making you drop. Both sides have to work to fight with or against the perk. It gives satisfying feedback and leaves survivors with options besides just don't go down. Now, let's examine perks like Pain Resonance, Eruption, Deadman Switch, Grim Embrace, all currently popular meta perks. Suddenly, all agency is robbed from the survivors. You just see your generator regress over and over again in an instant, like you just missed a skill check, giving you a feeling that you, quote unquote, messed up somehow. You also cannot do anything about it. Sure, you can kind of play around DMS/PR, but pop up and Grim Embrace, there's nothing you can do. Are your teammates dropping fast? Well, fuck you. The one person who generates the solo queue, your specific generator gets regressed further and faster than ever. This flows into the balance part of the modern design equation. Your teammates are now in more position than ever to drag you down with them. The reason for the increased talent in modern DBD is not just that DS got nerfed for a while, but also that modern slowdown is still incredibly effective when you go after easy prey. Have Pop, DMS, Grim Embrace, and Pain Resonance? Well, it's still immensely effective to tunnel the person just off hook, get another DMS plus Pop Rock, get another down, and then tunnel the final guy out, getting another DMS and Pop Rock. See how this stomps people way harder than Ruin? Another aspect of this is healing. Healing in modern DBD is guarded beyond belief, and I think to an unhealthy amount. Now, I'm sure you're about to anecdotally mention, oh, I see 4 syringes on all my games because I play at high MMR. And I'm sure, buddy. The reason you see more syringes now is because every other making it is worthless. The other parts of the argument are also worthless. And even then, I have cold, hard-hitting facts to throw in your face. Survivors on average heal less than 8 times in a match total, 5 of those being altruistic heals. This is incredibly unhealthy, at least in my opinion, for a plethora of reasons. Firstly, you have to realize, in a match of DBD, with how many free hits and splitting pressure occurs, it's not unreasonable to assume that if survivors healed up most of their health states back up, we'd see a good dozen or so heals per average match. Instead, we see definitive proofs that survivors are spending more time injured than ever, And it's not like there's some crazy meta around doing that. Dead Hard is that perk outside of comp DBD, and MFT is now sugar and gluten and meat-free version of its former self, so there's really no big reason for Survivors to stay injured. No, this just means Survivors can't fucking heal anymore. They die before they get healed. It's that simple. And in Swift, resets are still incredibly simple, because perks like Circle of Healing went from being an A-tier perk for all survivors to an S-tier perk for Swifts only. Meantime, we have perks like Leverage that make the one reliable healing method for solo players worthless. Mechit nerfs were also a large contributor to this. In my opinion, they were too harsh. Behavior did a classic overcorrection and made mechits more or less worthless in your average matches. I'm sure in your high octane tournament they are still really good, but in an average game you're healing versus some kind of sloppy hemorrhoid add-on, and then Claudette Morel 01 runs into you as she's being chased and you waste your entire mechit, go down, and then explode the gen Jake has been working on and pain rest on twice already with Surge. See how the feel of the Survivor experience is much worse than before? But of course, Survivor Friends, when you are actually an incompetent stack, which is the lowest of the lowest percentages of a player base, by the way, on average, Swifts don't escape at all, more notably, which means high escape rate Swifts are a small percentage, of already a small percentage. Survivor Friends gets to ignore most of these, because they can coordinate heals, they can coordinate when downs happen, they can bring in the busted shit to just power through the bullshit and not have a need for any info perks. But that leaves the majority of Survivor players in the dust. After dealing with a killer power that is so clearly designed for keeping up with Swift and requires really high coordination, how do you expect solo and or casual players to keep up with these designs? Why would they even want to play against them? I sincerely believe the give up on Epidemic is not because Survivors are such babies all of a sudden. It's just that the fundamentally fun aspects of Survivors have been watered down so strongly in the last 3 years that people still playing are often dejected. This is why we're not seeing so many people playing DBD despite the 5,000 licenses we get every month and also all the constant events. We should be seeing really high DBD player count numbers. Instead, we're seeing just maintaining of the previous numbers we've had. This tells me a lot of people are just not playing Dead by Daylight and are quitting it. I think if an ASIM is going to cater to someone, it shouldn't be killer/Swift balance. That's such a minority of players. I genuinely don't think it matters if it's going to come at such an expense to the general experience. I kill most people in my matches, I only get a challenge when a really stacked Swift comes by, and I don't like that. I think I would rather be challenged as killer more often than be robbed of all agency and enjoyability as a casual/solo survivor. Please, Patreon, reconsider. This is my official plea to fix Survivor Dead by Daylight. The current state we're in is just bad, and I don't think it should continue. If you disagree, please give me your constructive feedback in the comments. I don't care about your anecdotal experience. I'm sorry. I know if you are bad at killer, you can struggle in your matches, and that's okay. But I think we have to acknowledge at some point that survivors are just not having a good time anymore. And the reason is not because survivors suddenly became evil or that extremely entitled. I think it's reasonable to assume when there's a trend developing in a player base, it's not spawned on by some content creators telling each survivor to kill themselves on hook. It's probably spawned on by the game making itself less fun for players. This has been Kizu. Bye bye. This video has been brought to you by my Patreon supporters, or supporter in this case. Thank you for subscribing to the Silly Speech tier, which means we get a shout out at the end of the video in both audio and visual form. Subscribe to my Patreon for a bunch of goodies like PDF, and shout outs, membership, open Discord roles, all that good stuff that everyone expects from membership and on Patreon. I need money to keep doing this stuff to the level of quality I keep making them. And if you want to see a behind the scenes for this video coming sometime soon, subscribe to my Patreon as well. Alright, now I'm really out.